Today it came to me that I want to talk about ego and how it develops, how it has a significant impact on our life, and of course on the other hand I want to also try to find out if this is a burden to us to get, let's say, stuck with our ego, or is it just a step we have to take as human beings before we realize that if we only live in that stage, that we actually have no chance to live our full potential as human being. Yeah, this is more or less what I want to talk about. And also, my mother tongue is German. I'm German. I'm born there. I grew up in Germany. But in some way it came to me that I thought I want to do it in English, because maybe it's also dedicated to some of my teachers, because I listen to them mostly in English, so I have more, let's say, the words, they are more connected, more familiar to me, to the state I'm in. Yeah. And they start also the process in me to urge to look seriously for freedom. And that this is something I'm grateful for. That's why I maybe talk in English. Okay, I hope you understand. And if you look at the ego from a little bit of a distance, that this is sometimes important, that when we talk, that you try not to think too much, Don't think too much about everything. Just don't try to overthink it. Just be calm and try to see, out of nothing, out of silence. Don't try to make anything around it, Just try to sit quiet and try if we can see it together, because this is something I'm always also curious about it, if we can see it together, or is it only me? It can be, It can be. But if you look at it seriously and when does the process begin? When are we as human beings aware that we are here? When does it start? Does it start? And if, then when does it start, and when does it disappear again? Because it's not here for all the time. No. This level of consciousness that we are human beings and that we are born and we have to die, this is already, we know that, this is something we know. But when does it start? And is it really that what it is, Is it really that what it is? And do we have to be afraid of something? Because this is something, it can drive human beings, especially some human beings, they are very caught up in their own ego, which I will address pretty shortly. And they really think that they are dead. You know, they are only dead. What their ego is projecting to them and said, hey, you have to do that. You are dead. You have to. You know, your action all come out of that. Everything what you do come out of that, what you think, what you are. So, but when does it start? You know, we are all children of love. No, we are made out of a circle of life which never ends. And when you are, let's say you are becoming a human being. That means you're growing in the belly. You know, in that stage, you're pretty much egoless. You have no ego. You are completely in trust. You know, completely. You know you're taken care of. Nothing happened to you because you're safe in the belly. It's warm. You get the supplies you need. You have enough energy to do what you have to do, to grow up. And when the time comes, you present yourself to the world. You know, you present yourself to the world with the help of your mother, and then you're there. You know, but in that time. In that moment, nothing changed so much, you know, because you're born, you fight yourself out because you want to go into that world. That is your destiny. You have to go. And in that moment, you're full of trust because this is your stage, you know. There is no judgment. There is nothing. You're just full of trust and in love, and you know your mother's there and she will take care of you. You know that instinctively. If this is the right word, I think. All your instincts, you know, they are there in that moment. And it holds on for a while, you know. It's go on for months, for years, maybe, you know. But then there is the time when I mean, you get a name. This is the first thing. Somebody names you, and in this time, it's often like you get your name when you're just born. You're born. You're not even 1 hour old, then you already have a name. No. Of course, you don't care in that moment, but you have one. You have one. No. As a widely, is this time? No, this time. But there was other ways also in the history, you know, because some Indian folks and so on, they first. You know, when the newborn was there, then they watched them for years sometimes, you know, 4 or 5 years before they really give him a name, you know, because they understand that they have to watch the individuum, which we are, you know, and find out what kind of character, you know, this person has, and what kind of role has to play in the wholeness, you know. And this is not easy to judge because you have to observe that in a natural way. How a human being is, how we are as individuum, you know. And in some way it gets disturbed because in the modern world, you know, because we get our names, then we have to. Then pretty soon we have also to realize that we are growing up in a certain environment. Our parents, we have no much influence in it right away. Yeah. And also we are still full of trust, and then first maybe because we are growing up in this environment where we attach to them in some way, you know. You identify. You have to identify in some way with something, yeah. Either with your parents or sometimes even the opposite. Yeah. That's the parents they give you such a hard time that you don't want to be like they are, you know, and you play your role, you know, you play a role also in that stage, and And so what I want to say with that is that the ego, which grows also with a human being, you know, we get born and we're getting more and more attached to this ego because our surrounding, our society, our family, our friends, everybody has a certain impact and gives us an impression who we are, and then we start to identify, and people play different roles. Some people, you have a role at work, you have a role at home, you have a role with your friend, you have a role even with your kids, within the family, different roles to play. So, and this is very stressful, to always jump between all those roles, you know, those characters you have to play during the day, which you learned in the past that this is good to play because it's everything under control, because it's hard to keep chaos under control. It's very hard. And so, and you try to do your best, but all on the level of thinking, you know, because you always have to be careful where you are, and you're always stressed out, and because now it's the kids, now it's the chef, now it's there, now it's that, you know, and you switch the whole day between those roles, and you're so busy doing that you have no stillness in you, have no peace in you to see, you know, to see what you do. And this gives you the feeling of identity your whole life. And everybody lives it in a different way, because everybody has different circumstances. And that's why the ego has also the ego always wants to be right, you know. It wants to be right. So, and if you caught in the stage of ego, you always want to outpace others, you know, and this gives you it's very stressful, because it's hard to do. Because the ego is not capable to know more as the ego knows. And if the ego is seen by a greater seeing, then it has the tendency to, I call it to vaporize, you know, it vaporizes. It's getting thinner and thinner. And then one day you, at least it disappeared, and you see it immediately, you know, when it comes along and try to catch you again. So you're more aware of that. So, and when you're more aware of that, then you already step out of the ego stage. Because the ego is not capable to do anything about it. It's naked. It's naked. The ego is naked. If you watch the ego can nothing do about it. And but for you, this is a big step into freedom. Actually, it's very easy to recognize, because you just have to look, you know, look at yourself, look at you, look at what you think, look what you're afraid of. Just look. And the strange thing is, for me, at least, as more as I look, you know, as more peaceful I get. More peaceful I get. Because the seer, you become a seer. You look out of a much bigger space. And the seer has the tendency to gradually expand. Yeah, gradually expand, getting wider and wider and wider. This is the seer step. What is the seer capable of? Getting wider, wider, wider. And there's not much you can do about it. In fact, there's nothing you can do about it. It just happened. It's just happened. And everything becomes more clear, more clear, more clear. And it goes until the point when there is nothing to say about it anymore. There's nothing to say about it anymore. So, and when you can do the first step, go out of your ego state and try to be a seer. Watch yourself. What are you thinking? What you are projecting something onto somebody else. You know, everybody around you has his own life, his own story. You know, everybody is reacting, let's say, as best as he can do in that moment. But because we get caught in this egoic state, we are always trying to outpace somebody else, and this is very stressful and ends up in suffering. Because it is not possible. It is limited. It is limited, definitely. Because if you see it truly, you see that the ego's destiny is to destroy himself, to surrender to the absolute. It has no other choice. And the ego is tricky in the end. It's very tricky, because it will always try to tell you that you are on the right track. You are on the right track. As long as it found something else, it will. This is a question of time, because ego can also only exist with time. Yeah, and if you can put yourself in the position in observation, be an observer from everything what you can observe, and everything what you can see, what you can see happened within the one who sees it, So the seer is witness to something which happened inside the seer. So if you only the happening inside the seer, you don't know about the seer. You have no idea. But if you step a little bit out, this is not much to do. Just don't think too much. Just watch. And this stage, if you can recognize this, you will see. Then you're already getting wider, And maybe some people, they listen to that, they already feel, if they come to that stage, it's getting more light, There is not so much weight anymore. There's not so much weight anymore. And and because I'm pretty sure you like that stage, because I do. When you found out about that and you observe it, you observe. There's nothing to say about it. It's only observing, quiet, observing, and see what's going on. How thoughts come, how judgment come, resistance, anger. All those things may come. But you stay as a watcher. You are the observer of all that. You do not get entangled in that. You just watch it. And then, if you can stay there, you will see how the thoughts who come, they will go. There comes another thought. Of course, of course, there comes another thought. Always thinking. But it's getting less. It's getting less. It's getting less intense also. And so if you, let's say you give yourself the silence, you give yourself the peace, to get in that stage and stay there for a while, and observe what's happened. You found out it's a pretty nice stage, So, and then, what happened? You want to stay there all the time, because going back is a bad choice, So that's why I mentioned the observer, because the observer gives you the opportunity to see you as you're limited, as a human being, and realize that is not the truth. Not only the truth. Because your existence as a human being is part of that, You have a role to fulfill in that life. Whatever it is. I don't know. No. But we are capable to truly find out that we are part of nothing. We are part of nothing. Which is, on the other hand, everything. And to live that life only on the thought level, only on the identity level, only on the ego level, let's say you're missing a very big, let's call it opportunity. No. But it is grace. It is grace which comes to you, that you come home, that you find home and can rest. And let life unfold without judgment, without attachment. Nothing. There is a little story. I try to tell it here because I think it's better to get an idea, you know, what I mean with observer, you know, because Mochi told that story. It's about a tree, and there are two branches and two birds, you know, and the tree is a little bit up the hill, you know. You can see pretty far, a little village down, and it's pretty peaceful up there. And the two birds are different. They're different. There's one bird on the lower branch. He's there, and he's pretty busy, you know. He's building a little nest, you know. Maybe expect something, you know. Something has to happen in the future. And he's so busy, he's only focused on his little nest, you know. And he's flying a little bit off and from the ground and get some little grass halms, some halms, you know, to put in this nest and make everything nice, and getting totally busy and has no time to look around, you know. And this is comparable what happened in your egoic state, in the thinking process. Everything is all the time busy, always thinking about something, you know. And then it's the other bird. He's on the upper branch, you know. And this is a little bit of a bird, you know. He's not so busy. He's sitting there, you know, and he looks around. And he sees the bird down below, and he looks at them a little bit, well, with curiosity maybe, and see what he's doing, you know. But he's not getting really involved in it, because it's not his thing, you know. He don't want to do that. You don't want to get entangled too much in just one thing, you know. The other bird is looking around a little bit. He's looking in the valley, and he sees the village down there, and he sees the trees and the clouds, and the sunset and the sunrise, and he enjoys it, you know, without further doing. He just watches. And I think for me it was, if I know that I can watch, you know, it was not so very complicated to reach, you know, because I get in that stage and I watched. And then I found out, you know, and then you see it. And then the ego gets, I don't know, it's like it's going away, it just goes away, you know. Yeah. I think that's it for now.